In this video, I'm gonna walk you through 10 weird habits that practically guarantee your success in business. My name is Yuri Elkaim. I'm a New York Times bestselling author, CEO of Healthpreneur, and for the past 20 years, I've been building 7- and 8-figure businesses online. And more importantly, I've helped thousands of other health experts and coaches do the same. Now, if you want to build a great business, you got to build some really important habits. And it's more about what not to do than it is what to do. And I have other videos on that. But today I'm going to share 10 things I've not really shared a lot before. So without any further ado, let's dive right in. So let's talk about the biggest distraction you and I are facing, the good old phone. So what we're going to do is we're going to lock away our phone in this type of little Dropbox until noon every day. I know that sounds like a really, really big ask, and it might be conjuring up some fear, and you might be sweating already just thinking about this. But I'll tell you what, this is pretty awesome. So I'm actually going to show you how this works. Here's my phone, okay? Now, I actually have my kids do this as well because we don't need devices when we're at home. We don't need to be sitting on the couch all on our phones. Number one, only my oldest son has a phone. But when we go to bed or just around dinner time, we'll take our phone, we put it in this box. You can find stuff like this on Amazon. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this for, let's just go for 4 minutes. Okay, so you can see here on the timer, 4 minutes. I'm gonna push down and it's going to lock right about now. So now I can't actually get inside this box and I'm gonna have a little bit of a panic attack. Not really. But why I'm sharing this with you is because environment will always trump willpower. So you can certainly do whatever you wanna do to be focused and like, I'm gonna start my day on the right foot. I'm gonna put my phone away. Trust me, I've done that. I have other videos where I've talked about putting my phone in a drawer, a different room. But I'm telling you, when you have no opportunity to get access to your phone, you have a sense of relief. Just think about this. You get up, and normally most people check their phone. Okay, so if you don't check your phone, what are you gonna do instead? All of a sudden now you're thinking, well, all right, well, am I gonna meditate? Am I gonna read? Do I wanna get into my most important work? The answer to that question is gonna be way better than just doom scrolling on your phone. So lock away your phone with some type of like lockbox like this. It's a game changer. And if you've got kids, I promise you, if you want your family to be more present and connected, get everyone to put their devices in this. When they come home from school, they don't need to be on their phones. Be present with your family and obviously be present for yourself and your work. Now, the second weird habit is using a site blocker every single day. So I prefer to use an app called Self-Control. It's on my Mac, other apps as well that do the same thing. So you essentially can determine which websites you want to totally block, social media, email, everything that distracts you. Just think, where do you get distracted? Maybe it's even Slack. Maybe you get distracted because you're in your work and all of a sudden, if you're like me, sometimes you get anxious and you're like, I just want to do something else. And you pop out of the work and you go to something else. It could be Facebook, it could be Slack, whatever those distraction sites are, set them up in a blocker like Self-Control and eliminate them. What I mean by this is we don't actually eliminate them, but you block your access to them for a certain amount of time. So just like I said, a 4-minute timer on this box, you can set however long you want to block access to those sites. So what I do is if I finish my day at 3:30, 4 o'clock, then we'll map out my day tomorrow. I'm like, okay, when I get up in the morning, the first thing I'm gonna do is this. Okay, cool. So that means I don't need access to these websites. I'm gonna set up the time blocker to block the time for probably 16 hours. I typically get up around 4 to 5 in the morning. So if I set the thing at 4, 12 hours is 4 a.m. the next day. Let's give it some more till about 8 a.m. That means the first couple hours of my day are focused, deep work, not laden with distraction. So we've put the phone away. Now we've blocked the sites. Let's move on to the third weird habits. Okay, so this one is a little bit more practical in terms of business outcomes. And it's really simple. I don't care if you have 5 people on your email list or 5 million, email your list every day. Oh, I don't even email them once a week. Okay, cool. Wherever you are, you ultimately, I think, based on my 20 years of experience, will benefit from a daily cadence. Just like social media, right? Like you want to be present all the time. And I know like if you can't commit to daily emails, totally fine. I don't want you to feel pressured to do so, but I will share with you from experience, the more you email your list, the more money you will make. When it comes to email, this is one of the biggest things people get stuck on. What do I write? Well, what if they don't want to hear from me? What if they unsubscribe? Good. I think email is part of it is it's an amazing craft or an art that you get to develop. It really is a beautiful canvas by which you can develop your skill of communication and sharing story and perspectives and insights that a lot of your audience may not think about normally. And as I'm talking about this just unlocked. So now I can access my phone again. Back to the story. So when we're sending out emails, those emails can be value adding. They can be bonding in terms of just adding kind of like a life story, a life lesson, sharing some random, I call mundane magic from your day-to-day life. Like I drove to Starbucks, or I was hanging out by the pool, or I was, playing with my kids. Something happened. I picked up this lesson or insight that I think can add value to you in some way, shape, or form. You don't have to commit to daily, but if you do, it'll make a huge difference. At the very minimum, make sure you have at least bare minimum. This is like the bare minimum, like walking is the bare minimum for health. Once a week to your email list. Yuri, what do I write about? Don't worry, I've got other videos on the channel that can help you with that, but the very minimum, just let people know you exist. Add some type of value. Just ask yourself, how can I make this person's life better today? And remember this, the more you email your list, the more money you will make. Number 4, this is not necessarily a daily habit, but this is more of like a look at the business type of projects that you may want to do once or a few times a year. Kill anything that is not your primary number 1 core offer. Now, I'm assuming you're watching this and you're probably sub $1 million in revenue. And if you are, cool. If you're above that, good for you. But if you're underneath 1 million in revenue, you should be selling nothing other than one thing if you're offering a coaching service type of offer. The reason for that is because there are so many things you have to get dialed in from 0 to 1, right? When I say 0 to 1, I mean 0 to 1 million. And you have to wear a lot of the hats. You don't have the luxury of time to start doing all sorts of different things and having courses and different offers and lower price things and membership sites and ebooks and a high ticket coaching and then another level high ticket coaching. Like, screw it. One core offer, $2,000 to $10,000, whatever you feel good at, like in that range. And you dial that in to the nth degree. That's all I did for the first 3 years of Healthpreneur. I had no podcast, no YouTube channel, no social media, nothing. All we did was our perfect client pipeline into our main coaching program called HBA. That's all I did, okay? 7 years into the business, at that point, I had a 6-month debate with our team about the fact that I thought we had the capacity to then introduce an early stage coaching program into our business called the Online Authority Accelerator. 7 years after we started the business, okay? So for context, not in the first 7 months, not in the first 7 weeks, 7 years, and multiple 8 figures later. So just because it's hard doesn't mean you start to create something new. This is the cardinal sin mistake I made in my first business. It took me 7 years to make my first $1 million because I was distracted and spread too thin. It's rookie mistake 101, and I'm sharing this with you because I was the poster child of doing the opposite of this. Instead of focusing on one thing and drilling as deep as humanly possible, I got bored, and instead of optimizing it, I was like, oh, let me just move on to the next flavor of the month. And that created a complexity nightmare in that business, which is part of the reason why I sold the company many years ago. So I'm sharing this because the one resource that we all have, it's not just our time, but it's our focus. And when I talk about focus, I really mean energy. If you have 2 offers, just think about this. You doubled the complexity of your business. You split your focus naturally. Like, even if you say, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday is my main offer, Tuesday, Thursday is my secondary offer in terms of your focus, what I'm going to work on messaging wise, how I'm going to improve the product. You've split your time and your energy across 2 things. And so now you're less effective in each one as opposed to I only do one thing and all of my time is spent on that. So your messaging, your emails, your ads, your content, your offer, all of that is just the one thing. So only focus on one thing until you're above $1 million in revenue. And if that sounds hard, it is, right? But it's hard to get one thing cranking really well. It's much harder to do 2 or 3 things exceptionally well as well. So for me, when I'm looking at somebody's website, I can instantaneously get a sense of where they are from their business based on the menu at the navigation. And it'll say like our programs, and it's a drop-down menu with like 10 different things. And I'm like, no, this is not happening. Okay, like I just have a sense of what the business is all about, and they're probably burnt out. They're aware those individual different programs probably have a few people in each one. They're charging 49 for this, 149 for that. It's just a complete shit show. Burn all of it, focus on one thing, put all of your attention, all of your eggs in one basket, and don't take the stupid advice of like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. No. Put all of your eggs in one basket, because you will not have a basket if you don't put all of your eggs into that basket. You will not have a business to grow if you don't singularly focus on one thing that you can scale. Down the road, if you want to add a little bit of diversification, by all means, go for it. But early on, one thing, $1 million, end of story. Number 5, the 5 weird habit is to practice sales like a sport. I played pro soccer. I've coached soccer at the highest level, or at a very high level, for 7 years. And I've worked with hundreds of thousands of people to help them improve their health and their business. It's the same thing. No matter what it is you want to do, you learn how to do it, you do it over and over and over again, and then you get better at it, period. It doesn't matter if we're talking about juggling a ball or getting better at sales. If you don't like selling, it's usually because you're not good at it. And that's totally fine. That's not a slight to you. When you get good at something, you typically like it more. I hate basketball because I suck at it. I love soccer partly because I'm good at it. I don't really enjoy ballroom dancing partly because I don't do it and I'm not good at it. If I did it and I was good at it, maybe I would enjoy it more. But why sales? Taught to any entrepreneur, successful, like at the highest level or on the way. The number one skill you must develop is communication. Communication falls into the spoken word and the written word. Written word, we talk about magnetic messaging in our world, but for this, I'm going to talk about selling. The ability for you to influence somebody else to buy your program, to work with you, to give you money in this context. If you're not able to have conversations with people in order for that to happen, you will not have a business. The only thing that matters from 0 to 1 is one core offer, and then you sell the hell out of it, because you're not going to have a business if no one buys. Make sense? How do you get better at sales? Well, you learn how to have a conversation. You understand the basic structure and mechanics of a quote unquote sales conversation. And then you have conversations with people. And then ideally you get some kind of feedback, and you learn and you test it again and you try it again and you try it again, and you just keep getting better. And what's amazing about sales is it's really just coaching. So you'll actually become a better human at coaching other people because you're better at sales. You understand how people make decisions or not. You understand why people get afraid and fearful and why that holds them back, and analysis paralysis. You understand how to deal with all this stuff, and you're able to have a conversation that's not pushy or salesy to help someone do what's in their best interest. It's the most important skill. Like, there's nothing else. Okay, there's nothing else. And the thing is, once you start getting good at this, it starts to reinforce itself. Because if you charge $5,000 for a coaching program and you talk to 2 people and one says yes, you're going to feel pretty darn good. That's $2,500 an hour. Now, you're certainly going to go through a couple of calls where nothing's going to happen. You might go 0 for 10. Cool, whatever. But understand that it's not a numbers game. It's a skills game. If you can get better at the skill of selling, your numbers will improve. So practice it every single day. Read your script, listen to your calls, review your calls, practice objections, talk to yourself in the shower. When I was first learning how to sell properly, I was like a crazy person. I would walk down the street and I'd have a conversation with myself. Hey, so hey, Yuri, why are we talking today, not a year ago? What brings you in today? Oh, really? It's too expensive. And I would literally objection handle myself as I'm walking down the street. I actually had cue cards that I'd write out, and I'd look at them as I'm walking. I wanted to become so unconsciously competent that it became like a second language. And so now 100% of my coaching time, this is how valuable the skill is. 100% of my coaching time with my clients is helping them build this skill. Why would I spend all of my coaching time on this skill if it wasn't useful? It's the most useful skill. And that's why the most important thing I can contribute to my clients' businesses is this, right? And so what I hear from them is like, oh my God, Yuri, you're such a natural. Trust me, I am not a natural. I'm anything but that. I had to work my butt off and do thousands of sales calls and then coach and train others and then manage and lead them to do the same. And I've just done tens of thousands of reps. It's worth it. It's the single most important skill that would change the number in your bank account. Hey, we'll get back to the video in just a moment, but if you're enjoying this content, hit that subscribe button below. It will help me sleep a lot better at night. But more importantly for you, it'll help you build your dream a lot faster. So go ahead, subscribe, and we'll get back to the show. The sixth weird habit is to test more than feels necessary. What I mean by that is, let's look at advertising as an example, and we'll look at content as well. Most of the stuff you put out there, emails, ads, content, most of them are not going to do well. So that's just like a disclaimer, spoiler alert, welcome to reality. You put out 10 ads, 9 of them are going to suck. It's not that you suck. It's not that you suck. It's just the audience doesn't resonate with your messaging or the creative or something. That's okay. Don't take it personally. Look at it as feedback. Okay, cool. What am I learning from this? All right, how can I test? How can I iterate? How can I keep going? Because the marketing process is also known as the scientific process, which is essentially just testing. Hypothesis, test it, observations, results, conclusion, next hypothesis, we just keep going over and over and over again. I've written thousands of ads for Healthpreneur since 2017, and the majority of them haven't worked well. But there's probably about 25 or 30 that have built our business. So when I'm looking at my messaging and I'm working on a new ad, I'm always thinking of like, this is the ad that could, like, you just need to be right once. You just need to have one ad that takes off, because then it changes your life. With content, same idea. Like, you'll put content out, some of it's going to do okay, some of it won't do anything, and others will just take off. The key is that you're not taking anything personally, because there's no algorithm out to get you. You're not being shadow banned. What I want you to understand is you're just not good enough yet. You're just not good enough yet. And if you take that as a grown adult, not as somebody whose ego has been bruised, you will grow. I've been doing this for 20 years. And if I'm being very honest with you, I think my long form content is pretty good. I think my short form content sucks. So for me, when I'm posting stuff on social and I look at it through an objective lens, I'm like, okay, dude, it's just not good enough yet. What can I learn? How do we get better? And just keep going. It's not that I'm not good enough. It's not that you're not good enough. It's just the stuff you're putting out there is not good enough yet. And if you take that approach and you keep testing and you keep learning from those tests, you will crack the code. So just keep going and never give up. Seventh habit to help you grow your business is look at your calendar and book 2 to 3 CEO days every month. So CEO days, it doesn't have to be like a retreat anywhere. Like, it could just be like, I'm going to take the morning off and I'm going to go for a hike. So how it looks like for me, just as a reference point, is typically later in the week, sometimes on Thursdays or Friday mornings, I'll take 3 to 4 hours and I'll just go walk in the forest. And I have that's like a CEO half day for me. I mean, for me, I don't need a full day, but if I can have 4-ish hours just doing nothing, but I'm still doing something. I'm allowing things to percolate and I'm allowing, space to do its job. And it's amazing what that does for just relieving pressure in your life and just removing the noise. And I would recommend, if you can, and it depends on where you are in your journey. I mean, sometimes you can use those days for, consumption and kind of taking in new information. And other times you want to allow those days to just have no new information, where you can allow things to just process and percolate and do what they may to help you create and reveal what needs to be revealed. So ideally, you're not at your computer, you're not on devices. It's like you and like space, maybe a notebook. It doesn't have to be a walk in the forest, right? Sometimes I'll just go for a drive, for a couple hours. And I love that because I'm very present in the moment and I just kind of clear my head. And sometimes just having that decompression is just awesome. So whatever it is for you, what I'd recommend is find what is the thing that you would want to do? Like, it could be a full day at the beach, or it could be like taking some time with your spouse, your loved one. Maybe it's just you by yourself doing something you love, totally disconnected in nature. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be you sitting in the backyard. I don't know. But find the time in your calendar, I'd say 2 to 3 times a month. And it could be a couple hours. It doesn't need to be a full day, where you can just totally disconnect and just allow space to work its magic. The 8th weird habit kind of follows this last one, is walk every single day, but do so without your phone. There is a time to consume and a time to allow things to do their thing, right? Very much like eating too much. If you consume too much information, your mind will feel obese. You will feel bloated and you will feel overwhelmed. I think it's about finding that balance of, okay, where am I stuck? What do I need to know? What's the information I'm missing? Let me get a little bit of that. And now give me space to create clarity. So every single day, I would recommend walking just for like health purposes. But if you can walk without having headphones in, just listen to the birds, right? Be present. Now, if you live downtown in a big city, it's a different vibe. But if you have the opportunity to be in nature, to be more zen and chill, allow the space to work its magic, okay? It's not always about consuming more, listening to more podcasts, listening to more videos. Sometimes like just like you kind of know what to do, right? Just turn it all off, give yourself the space, move your body. No inputs, just like you have everything you need in here, okay? If you're missing something and you're in that mode of consuming an information, cool. But to a point, consume it, go for a walk, let it all just do what it's got to do. It'll change how you solve problems. You'll get more clarity. And very often what I'll talk with my clients about, they're trying to come up with a name for whatever, their webinar or their coaching program or anything. And it's like, we don't need to force it on this coaching call, right? Here are some frameworks, here are some ideas. Just go for a walk. Take a shower. Like it'll hit you in the weirdest places. You might be in the middle of the night, wake up and like, oh my God, there it is. So it's when you're disconnected from the work that a lot of the breakthroughs happen. So I'm giving you permission to take a walk and don't feel guilty about leaving your phone at home. Number 9 is do your most important revenue generating tasks first thing in the day. So earlier we talked about locking away your phone. So that's not even on the table. Like when you get up in the morning, the first half of your day is no phone. Second, we're blocking all the distracting websites. So what's left? You and creation. That's it. Google Docs, a notepad, shooting a video, whatever it is. You want to think about in your business, what are the most important things that are going to generate revenue in my business? And you have to know like what that is for your business. So for instance, at the end of every day, I just take out a cue card like this or an index card and I write down the top 3 things I'm going to do for the next day. Generally, for me, it's some type of writing. I write every single day and I've done so for the past 20 years. I've probably missed a couple days here and there, but everything I put out, emails, ads, content, everything is mine. Like in terms of my typing, my words, the whole bit. That your messaging is not something I believe you should delegate. It's something I think it's a very, very important skill to really develop on a daily basis. If you want to be a thought leader, well, you have to share your thoughts. We have enough thought repeaters. We don't need more of them. Like we need more leaders in this space. So I think one of the most important things on a daily basis is to get thoughts out of your head. Ideally, put them down on paper or on a Google Doc so you can really flesh out your thinking. I would say that's probably one of the most important things to do first thing in the morning. Outside of that, in terms of revenue, it's going to be crafting an offer or looking at the performance of a specific offer and looking at how you can make it better. Depending on where you are in your business, maybe it's working on your selling skills. So it's not going to be creating a graphic in Canva. It might be thinking about how you can create a piece of content that might get more engagement. That might be part of it if organic content is a big part of your play. It could also be that reaching out to people manually is part of your process if you're early stage in the business. And so maybe you're outbounding and connecting with 10 to 20 different accounts on social media. And I know we talked about turning social media off for a moment, but if that's one of your most important revenue generating activities, like hitting people up in the DMs, maybe that's part of your morning routine. But you just have to be very clear. Like if you're going to use social to connect with other accounts, leaving comments, dropping DMs, it's like a fighter jet. Like you go in, you drop missiles and you're out. We're not scrolling forever, consuming other people's stuff. But if you can really focus the most important activities that are going to generate revenue for you early in the day, the rest of the day is gravy and bonus. So really figure out for your business, what are the most important things? What are the things that are going to book calls? What are the things that are going to generate conversations? What are the things that are going to put your message out to the world? And just do those, do more of those, and start to recognize if I do more of this, revenue starts to increase. And the 10th habit I suggest you do on a daily basis is review your numbers every day. So this goes all the way from like bank account, like look at your bank accounts every single day. Whether you like what you see in there or not, you got to get used to it. Okay. I know some people don't like to weigh themselves, which is fine, but you have to have some type of measurement. In business, cash in bank is a pretty darn good measurement of how things are going. It's not a leading indicator. It's a trailing indicator. In a coaching business, if you have no calls booked, your bank account will eventually reflect that. If you have a lot of calls booked down the road, a month, 2 months, your bank account will start to increase. There's a correlation, and that's part of what we just talked about in that previous habit is you want to be able to identify what are the activities that produce the outcomes. And part of how we know that is by looking at the numbers. So if we start at the top and look at the bank account every single day, your business bank account, your personal bank account, your credit cards, look at those every single day. 5 minutes, doesn't have to be a huge deal. Then we should have some type of dashboard in the business, right? Depending on your business, you're going to look at a couple different parameters. So if you're running ads, ad spend, cost per click, cost per lead, number of calls booked, cost per call booked, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You want to look at those numbers on a daily basis to have a pulse of what's working, what's not, where are the constraints, or where is the main constraint that needs to be addressed. And again, if you're looking at your data and you're noticing that like you're not getting enough calls booked, then that needs to be the sole focus of your energy. Because if we talk about the 3 revenue generating activities, how do we get more calls booked? In a coaching business, you need calls to have clients, more or less. So if you have no calls, you have to be very mindful to look at the data and say, okay, 0 calls, 0 calls, 0 calls, 0 calls. Let's just say it's day after day. Nothing. If you're working hard and your calls are not increasing, you're doing the wrong things, more or less. Okay? So it's not always true, depending on if you're building up some momentum. If it's a bit more organic and manual outreach, that's fine. But generally, if you're working really hard and you're not moving the needle, you might be doing the wrong things, generally speaking. So if you look at calls booked and there's nothing, then you only focus on how do I fix calls booked? What are the things that are indirectly or directly impacting that number? That's all you do. First thing in the morning, okay, what do I have to do today? Okay, I got to change my creative, I got to change my offer, I got to test a new ad, I got to check, like whatever that involves until calls booked start to increase. Because bank account numbers, that's the outcome, but it starts down here. Okay, so this is an example of why it's very important to have data in your business, because you want to be making decisions based on data, not on how you feel. Now, if you follow the data, your business will grow if you understand what it means and then how to fix it. So those are the 10 weird habits, if you will, that I'd recommend, that I've kind of lived by, if you will, over the past 20 years to build my businesses. If you take all 10 of these, your business will grow. It's only a matter of time. If you take a few of them, that's a good starting point. If you've enjoyed this and you're a health expert who wants to grow your coaching business, 2 final words, make sure you subscribe, because I've got tons of other videos already on the channel and many, many more to come to help you grow a successful business online. And second, if you like our $1 million health coaching roadmap, that's the next video I recommend you watch. We'll walk you through the whole business model of how to build a $1 million coaching business in less time. We'll show you how we help thousands of our clients just like you do that. And that video will probably pop up somewhere around here. The link is also in the description, and I'll see you there.